Hello and welcome to this month's Glow Heartfulness webinar. I'm Purnima, your host for today's webinar. I'm a heartfulness trainer and a practitioner of heartfulness meditation. Glow stands for Genuine Loving Outstanding Women, which is a series of monthly webinar-based chat show for women to learn meditation from the comfort of their homes and workplaces. We also bring to you speakers from across the world who are experts in their chosen field. Heartfulness meditation is available in more than 100 with thousands of volunteers in different parts of the world. Heartfulness meditation and other holistic tools to people. Workshops organized in corporate schools, universities, and what we also do is we continuously find unique and interesting ways to bring heartfulness meditation and its benefits to everyone. So this webinar is one such initiative. Here we learn to meditate on the source of light in the heart, which is the seat of love and joy. And the unique feature of heartfulness meditation is meditating with the presence of yogic transmission or pranahuti, which is imparted by the trainer. So today on the webinar, we have Dorina Gnaur from Denmark, who's going to speak to us about resonant leadership and womanhood. Dorina Gnaur was born in Romania. Her formal education has been a very interesting journey. She has a master's degree in Italian, French, and she holds a PhD in learning science from the University of Aarhus in Denmark. She has completed programs in psychotherapy, coaching, and mentoring. She holds now currently a position as an associate professor at the Learning and Philosophy at Aalborg University, Northern Denmark. She teaches in the field of learning, leadership, and changes in organization. So in this webinar, I'm very happy to bring to you Dorina now. Welcome, Dorina. How are you today?
Thank you, Purnima. I'm very fine. And hello to everybody out there from Denmark. The first snow has arrived to Denmark. It's a very nice view from my window out in nature. And I know we are looking at the same sky wherever you are. So I feel united with you.
That's so sweet. And let's start the webinar now. Today's webinar is about resonant leadership and womanhood. And Dorina now is going to speak about how inner harmony can influence our workspace and help us in forming a very heartful leadership. So before we actually start the webinar, I'm going to ask you a very basic question. What does it mean to be a resonant leader? I mean, we understand the word leader and leadership, and I think we also have started understanding the meaning of emotional intelligence and emotionally intelligent leader. But what exactly is resonant leader and how is it different from an emotionally intelligent leader?
Thank you, Purnima. So, resonant is a word compound made of two parts. The one is re and the other one is sonant. So there's something with re sound. So it's something with reflecting a sound or giving in a sound, out a sound that has to be received. So first of all, let's agree that leadership is a social and human activity. So you need to have social and human skills and a kind of talent to mobilize people to move along with you in some kind of socially intelligent way. So you need to understand what is going on. You see, it can be that the direction for leadership, you know, we are leaders because we need to help organizations achieve their goals. So we have some goals and we have a direction towards that goal. But the pathway towards these goals will depend on the quality of the leadership, will depend on the ability of leaders to read and resonate with what they read in their employees, their associates. So in many languages, there is this saying that you can take a horse to the water, but you cannot make him drink. You see, so you can force, you can compel, you can even coerce your employees to do what you want them to do, but you will never get the richness and the contribution, the creative capability and the ideas, you know, the knowledge that the employees, the associates can contribute with on this pathway towards the goal. So, you know, it is problematic actually if you as a leader only limit yourself to this instrumental view of leading. So it's like, you know, like, yeah, I mean, you know, it's like driving cattle to from one field to another. I mean, human beings are capable of much, much more. So it restricts the human potential if we do that. So a resonant leader does exactly the opposite. She acknowledges each individual as a human being that is capable of directing and mobilizing her endeavors towards worthwhile goal. So each of us are born with a sense of purpose. So we want to use that sense of purpose also in the framework of work. You know, work takes up most of our time. So let's see, a resonant leader then is has two capacities, I would say. The one capacity is actually to read, to absorb information from the surroundings, and to tune into that. So meaning that you really perceive, you register what is going on, and you can tune into that. So this capacity could also be called empathy. I mean, you know, empathy is a wide known word notion nowadays. It's actually means to put yourself in the shoes of another. So it means really to take in the other's perspective. So this taking in of information and you being able to understand that is one way of resonating. The other way, the other element in resonance, I would say, and in resonant leadership is to give a clear sound, to give a tone. You know, like when you tune an instrument, you need this perfect, clear, simple tone, so you can tune your instrument so that you are able as a leader to reinforce the purity and creative potential, the sense of purpose of human beings. So you should lead in such a way that human beings are connected to their deeper capabilities, and that would benefit everyone. Actually, it will benefit the employees. It will benefit you. You will feel connected and liked, appreciated what you are doing. So you would yourself have this sense of purpose. So let's just sum up and say a resonant leader is one that takes in information and tune into that. And then on the one hand and on the other hand is one that can send out a clear message, a clear sense of purpose that connects associates, employees with their deeper sense of being. How is that for a beginning, Punima?
Thank you so much, Dorina. Thank you so much. It was very understandable, and it seems like it's a very good quality. But do you think there are any drawbacks with such kind of leadership qualities? Because in today's world where there is cutthroat competition, how do you capitalize on such beautiful qualities, leadership qualities, without also going through the drawbacks or the cons of an altruistic, inherent altruistic nature?
So yeah, I think now we are getting closer to the connection between resonant, the quality of being resonant as a leader, and then the emotional intelligence. So women, this is a this is a webinar series directed not only to women but enhancing somehow the contribution that women can make in various fields. So there's a lot of research showing that women somehow tend to score higher in emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is again the capacity to know yourself, your own feelings, to monitor your own feelings, and the capacity to understand what is going on in other people, understand that and respond to that. So this is a emotional intelligence is a component to resonant leadership. We will come back to that. So at the same time, you see, so women generally, perhaps because historically and genetically we are coded to take care to show compassion, to have patience, understanding, to support our children, our parents, our families, our friends. So we are more trained, let's say, to start with in emotional intelligence. We are more intelligent at perceiving what is going on and somehow navigating in that. But it has this drawback, and also research shows that that there is a lot of anxiety going on in the Western developed part of the world, probably all over, but most research has been going on here. And what they show is that there's been this study from Cambridge, University of Cambridge, funded by the National Institute of Health Research, that reviewed about 50 studies with anxiety disorders. And women in the Western world are stressed nearly twice as much as men. So how come that women that are more emotionally intelligent and have this cultivated and developed some abilities that are very, very useful in an organizational context, how come that they are twice as stressed? So for every 1.9 females, only one male is affected by anxiety disorders and stress. And especially women below 35 are very disproportionately represented. So the thing is that if you actually in the research of emotional intelligence and by Richard Boyatzis and David Goleman, I think they are two names that are quite known. I mean, the authorities behind emotional intelligence. They speak about a syndrome called the power stress. So leaders, have so much responsibility. They need to reach some goals and they don't quite know how to do, and they need to somehow make people, go along towards these goals. And once in a while something goes wrong, so you're all the time in a tension, of responsibility and of how to make everything move towards these goals. And once in a while something happens, things go wrong, and then this accelerates the stress and the tension. So even emotionally intelligent leaders, perhaps even more so, because we are so receptive. Emotionally intelligent people are very receptive. Then they perceive everything which is going on, and this creates a so-called power stress. So the responsibility, power meaning this responsibility that you have, and the mandate that the organization has put into you to resolve this responsibility. So having this stress on you and just not having the possibility to recharge somehow, you see, this actually has negative effects for people that are emotionally intelligent, for everybody, but perhaps even more so, I would say, or the research would indicate, for people that are emotionally and socially intelligent. Yeah. So just to go on a little bit with what we know with the research that's been going on, Dr. Richard Boyatzis and David Goleman, they have actually written this book called Resonant Leadership, and they show, and I would perhaps like to share my screen to show you their figure. Let's see if I can do that. So can you see my PowerPoint now?
No, I cannot see a PowerPoint. I can see a Word document.
Okay.
Now I can see your PowerPoint.
So it's coming. So you see here, let's see. Can you see my PowerPoint document now?
Yes.
Yes. So let's put it in display mode. So they show very well, what is going on. We have a lot of tools for developing effective leadership. So we get all the time, sort of courses and training in how to lead more effectively. And some crises come along, and we feel threatened. We live in a sense of threat of not being able to reach these goals, and the sense of crisis sometimes accelerates. So that actually indicates a very big risk of a non-sustainable leadership. So what will happen when you introduce resonant leadership, when you when you think in terms of, okay, so I may be able to read what is going on, but I may also be able to impress something from a deeper place in myself. So what is that deeper place? What they indicate that this deeper place would be is related to the deeper human qualities. In their research, it would be mindfulness, so being aware of your own emotions and others, and also being aware to not identify yourself so badly with what is going on, but be more in observer role. Then the quality of hope that is very connected to positive thinking, to seeing a lighter, brighter future, to looking at the light side of things. That also somehow gives you a sense of relief from within. And then the compassion, which then would be a combination of this empathy, understanding, and enlarging your own perspective. So you see, there are so many human beings, and not two of them are identical. So we see the world and have our own, inner rationality. So to us, the world makes sense, although it's not identical to the person next to us. So this ability to really accept that although you may feel that you are right, the other person is also right, and how may it feel and how may it be to be right when you look at life and at things from the other person's perspective. This is empathy. Then to compassion also contains an element of care. So caring, really trying to support and have a will to do good for the other person. So having these exercises, inner exercises, would contribute, according to these writers, to recharging the system, so that you not only give and are drained through being emotionally receptive and intelligent and socially accessible for everybody and supportive, but also that you get something from within to renew. So in this way, then you would have what they call a more sustainable and effective leadership. So this is very interesting to look at, also from the point of view of heartfulness. We'll get back to that. Do you is this clear, Purnima, or do I need to?
This is good. This is clear. I understand. But my next question is going to be something related to this. It's like, see, we have this cycle of sacrifice and renewal, and I understand that we also need to sustain our emotional, our own emotional level. So how can these resonant leaders cope with their own emotional exhaustion? How can they cope up with their own burning out because of always having to show compassion and empathy, and
Hmm.
getting into this cycle of sacrifice will also lead to the um, imbalance in their own inner resources? How can they handle that?
Sure.
And how can they
Yes.
cope up with not being burnt out, or feeling an emotional exhaustion because of being good always, and also being good leaders always?
Yes. So this is an ongoing concern for everybody, I guess, as the demands increase and society seems to move very fast. So I would say that it takes a mindful turn. So your attitude in terms of not identifying yourself always personally with what is going on, but see it as a play, as a systems play that has elements in each system. Like in nature, there would be some elements of growth and some elements of obstruction and some elements, and everything will somehow um, uh, develop and flow and evolve naturally. So instead of saying, oh, it is my fault, because I didn't do this, as I knew was right. And so you just see it at now. This is the situation we are in, and from now we are hopeful and look and attentive to what is going on, and look forward to what is going on from now on. So not all the time blaming yourself. And in terms of some, I would say this would be the mindset that has to change. But I think heartfulness in particular contributes with a heartful contribution. So using the heart as a more flexible, more organic, more regenerating and fluid medium for interaction. So if I would sort of look at a thing like communication, you see, when we communicate, we go to all these courses in communication, and we know that we learn that there are a lot of filters, as you can see here, past experiences, our expectations and prejudice. So we actually do not communicate, and we have to get past these filters. So is what being more mindful, more intelligent in this field of communication will try to teach you how to remove some of these filters in order to really listen into what is going on and be able to make an informed judgment. When you look in a heartful way, in a more evolving, a natural way at things, you're always interested in growth. You see human beings as two systems that are in a process of growth and evolution in any context that is. So you are interested more not in communicating, because truly speaking, we are not able to influence directly one another, but we are able to influence the environment in which we coexist, so that we both, or all of us, can retrieve what we need for our own development. So in this way, communication would be more a way of communioning. And of course, you would still have to listen and make sure that you truly listen, and you're not listening to your inner dialogue and preparing your reply, as we often do when we listen to someone. The next level will be this compassionate listening, this sort of curiosity and care, but curiosity into how is this, just this unique moment in time, and just this unique conflict, or just this unique problem that we have, a base for growth. What can we learn from this? So having this learning orientation and a will, and a will to help and support individual growth and growth in general. So this would be this would sort of then evolve into this resonant listening, where you are very sensitive and perceive what is going on, and you dance in and out of one of this sort of interplay between human beings. I would say that this is a way of really generating growth, but not if you limit yourself to just listening and to just tuning in. You would also have to connect yourself to something essential in your own being, and from there contribute, or from there send a message, or from there articulate a thought. And that, to me, from my own experience, this would be generative. You see, I'm a researcher and also a teacher at university. I teach all kind of people, and learning is not an easy business, because learning, it means that you continually have to challenge your own state of knowledge and skills and so on, because if not, you cannot learn more. So people have a lot of resistance. People have resistance. I also work with projects with competence development in organizations, and people say, oh, but we have so much to do, and this and that, and pressure, and not enough funds, and we are being cut down, and so and so and so. So people have resistance. And so you have to listen, and you have to not take it personally. I think this is a resistance to you, but this is a narrow space. This is a narrow space. So if I stay in that narrow space, I will not help. I will not contribute to growth. I will not be happy myself leaving that place. So I need somehow to be aware of this being a narrow space and trying to enlarge. So where can you enlarge? I mean, there's limited things you can tell to yourself in order to enlarge mentally. At the heart level, you can enlarge. You can enlarge like a mother, you know, that although the child is in terrible pain, a mother will have this extra energy and to take care of the child and comfort the child no matter what. So this caring way of embracing people in distress, you see, this only comes from a heart, I would say, presence. And then once you are there and there is a little bit more space, so people feel that you are not going to contradict them, you are not going to, you know, prove them wrong, then somehow they tend to relax, and that gives you a possibility to actually go a little bit deeper and be wondering, be curious, you know, like from within there is a power of life, there is a power that generates change in the universe at all levels. So what might this power be in you at this very moment? So just it just takes a moment of heartful awareness, where you wait, curious, and see whether some kind of intuition of some kind of idea or something that you would say would arrive from that moment of silence, or where you sort of look inside. And these things you can do at the same time as supportive. So I have found in my own work that when I operate at both receiving but also connecting myself to something, to my own center, so this interplay actually creates a point of a new solution. So something new emerges that I didn't know before, the people didn't know before, and then we meet somewhere, and from there we just take the next steps. You know, we may not know the solution. So just to say that from your question, you know, how can we deal with all these things, and how can we sort of also not get exhausted in the process? I would say women have many of us, and if not directly, then through our sisters and mothers, we have access to this quality of unconditioned love for your baby, for your child, for your parents, for your friends, where although they are in distress, you are not losing yourself in that, but you still support and help. And but then the question still is, you know, how can you, I will just not show more now, how can you, you know, exercise this capacity to go deep inside and bring something, and being filled in from within, you see, and not being so dependent on your own mental processes, but and I would say that meditation, of course, helps. All kind of meditation helps, because meditation is an exercise in being with what is, in reclining into this ground of being somehow, and in that way you get used to being a place, in a state that is not defined mentally or has any specific connotations. So you are used to you build up a training, a competence in being, just being. But that is not enough. And why is not enough? Because we are confronted with a lot of things. So then we have to apply this capacity. We have to learn, like a baby learns to walk. You know, you make one step, you support yourself to something, you fall. We often fall. That means we fail, and failure is good. Failure is not bad. Failure is good if you receive it at the heart level, meaning that if you receive it at the heart level, you are curious and caring. You know, so oh my God, I really, you know, I really got I really got it all wrong today. So gosh, I really need to relax and take a long walk or something. So this caring for yourself as well, and at the same time curiosity, and curiosity as per what growth can come from here. You see, So then we have to exercise. We have to exercise and find our ways to put this into practice. And even when I've been in situations where I've been confronted with even rude behavior and very unfair behavior, and somehow what happened when I connected to this more compassionate listening, immediately I felt like supporting this person that was in so much distress that the person had to behave in that way. And then I from being in a narrow, very threatened space, I was reclining into this loving compassion. Is very beautiful. It's truly beautiful when you get to sort of access to that in the situation. And then you listen and you listen, and there is more space, and the person calms down, and then you start sort of from this listening and somehow waiting of what may emerge from here. Then you start saying something, and then the person listens, and you say a little bit more, and then the person listens, and somehow when you go out of that room, the person is more calm, and I am a little bit, of course, shattered, but I know that I have been in touch with with a true place in myself, and I know that I can come home and I can do my we have this in Heartfulness practice of cleaning, of rinsing the impressions, so I just get home and rinse off the impressions, and I meditate, and then I get filled from within, and it's all fine for me again, you see.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dorina. That was so beautiful and so nice of you to explain it that way. Um, so you basically explained also how to enhance our leadership skills using the space of the heart, using the intelligence of the heart.
Mm.
So, what are the benefits of inspiring or encouraging others to pursue their own passions or dreams? Because as a leader, you always have an opportunity to help others to bring out the best in them. And
Yes.
that is good. That is good. That is very good. But I'm asking this question from a space of how can it benefit a leader to bring out the leadership skills or the kindle and inspiration in another person? How does
Mm.
this leadership also help in that?
So this pertains to the second element of resonant leadership, what I call resonant. So to send out a genuine and authentic message that somehow helps people connect to their deeper human qualities. So what happens? So let's see a little bit. I will take you maybe through some more. I'm sorry, I have to. Go quickly through this PowerPoint here. You always think, that you will show a lot, but you actually don't, because the talk goes. Let's see. I will take you here. So just to it's a bit slow, the technology here. So the benefits you see of developing emotional intelligence and resonant qualities are, of course, that people will feel heard. Heard, I mean that you hear them, and seen when you show sensitivity to their feelings, and these leaders, will be able also to be self-aware of what their behavior, with how their behavior influences other people, and also to monitor their emotions, meaning to control their restlessness and impatience. Again, people that are exercised in emotional leadership will be good at building relationships. They will understand, how to speak in a way that this person responds. You see, so relationships are essential for an organization. I mean, if people do not cooperate in a growth-oriented way, then you have a very, very tough, uh, work life, so to say, and the organization will not benefit from that either. So what emotional leaders, emotionally intelligent and resonant leaders can do is also to create this low stress environment, because they are authentic. You see, when I teach, I try not to put on a mask. I try to sort of speak from the present state, but of course in an intelligent, emotionally intelligent way. So I will not just tell people everything, but just be present, be vibrant, and listening. So not putting on this mask will also encourage people to feel safe not putting on their masks. And if they don't feel that they have to play these roles of being very performant and very safe and very this and that, they will be more relaxed. The environment will create less stress, and people will produce more simply. So what happens, of course, resonant leaders are first of all resonant self-leaders. So they listen to themselves from a deeper place and tune into that. So without being a resonant self-leader, it is difficult to be a resonant leader of others. So we try to be awake and aware, awake to what is going on, and notice, and also decide, of course, what should be acted upon, and what perhaps should just be observed and let just left as it is. And resonant leaders are also in harmony. So harmony is a very essential notion, I find. Harmony is basically harmony is a universal pattern. If you look at nature, and what you like when you're out in nature is that there seems to be a harmony. The forms, the sounds, the shapes, whatever is going on, there is a harmony of that. So you relax and you feel in harmony with that. So being resonant means that you somehow tune in a harmonic way to a more stable, a more clear cut tone from deep inside, and that you send that out so that people then will feel engaged and passionate about something which feels true to them and meaningful to them. And they will, of course, have these qualities of empathy and compassion that we have spoken about. And then they may be visionary and inspire hope. You see, life is a quite challenging endeavor for, at least at times, for many of us. So to have this source of inspiration of someone that looks, at the bright side, it's very, very valuable. It makes you regain faith in and see a purpose with what you are doing. And of course, they will also balance. We still have to reach the goals. You see, many organizations have very tough targets to make, and then we have to sort of speak about that. We have to sort of relate to others and tell them that this is really hard, and how best can we then deal with it. And they will consider the contributions of each human, each individual, but also their social. They encourage sort of their sharings, in a social space. And nowadays we have to, of course, be very responsive to the environmental impact that our organizations have, and somehow include that in being resonant, not only to ourselves and to others, but also to the surrounding environment. So so this would be the benefits, I can say. So I think our time, Punima, is about to how are we doing on time?
Yeah, so we have time to have a heartfulness session, an experiential session of heartfulness, relaxation, and meditation. So if you're up to it, we can talk a little bit about how heartfulness has helped us in this context of resonant leadership, and then we can have a session.
Okay, so let me tell you, I've been meditating since I was 22, and it has been a constant companion in my adult life. So I've been doing all these studies and all these things that you were mentioning in the beginning, but the really the continuity in life, in my life, has been through heartfulness meditation. I've been very grateful to have this resource. So when we speak about this, how it has, so I've been, I have I'm a researcher. I have to do a lot of research and be very objective, try to be objective and rational. But without the heart intelligence, it would be difficult for me, because the heart somehow intelligence also trains my intuition and my sense of, where to go and how to capitalize on that. So when we speak about heart intelligence, I can see that in relation, from my own experience, in relation to building resonance as this holistic process, to be a more sort of whole person, mind, body, and spirit. There are these two components. The one is, of course, the experiential, direct experience, not only speaking about meditation and fancying about it, but basically sitting on your pillow and communioning with some base of being, some ground of being, and somehow from there you perceive things at a much more refined level, what I call vibratory sensitivity, because you are not preoccupied with thoughts, but you perceive shifts in vibrations, and you begin to understand what is going on in a completely different way. And also you learn your heart, you learn to know your heart, and when it is in harmony, when it is not, and what it takes to bring it into harmony. But the other component is this, what I call heartful life practices, is this consciousness component. So it's not only to have this inner harmony when you meditate, that's great, but if you keep it to that, we are truly very limiting ourselves. We have to make the link between the inner and the outer harmony. So bring this harmony outside of ourselves and not be afraid, of this harmony, because we have the power. When you are connected inside, you are the only one that can actually prove as a clear, you can stand as a clear tone for the surroundings to tune themselves into. So it is your duty somehow to bring this and stand into this as clearly as you can, so that people will then join in, and you will find out that people are very strongly adhering to this, because everybody has this longing for harmony. So it's not like I do it, I just stand there and people tune in, and our communication is and myself, I'm growing from this, because then I get integrated in my mind, body, and spirit. Punim, I have a figure that I'm very sort of fond of, but I'm not sure whether I should show it now because of the time,
Yeah,
or whether
you're welcome to show it. Yeah.
okay. It's because I'm a teacher, you see, so I'm trying to be a bit pedagogic about everything. So you may please bear over with me when I show you this this figure as an attempt to explain from my own experience, which actually joins the explanations of our teachers about what heartfulness is. So we come from this very big unknown, and there is some kind of existence. It's not only human beings that exist, trees exist, and the stars exist. So there is some larger base of existence, but at the human level. And I have drawn this heart. It's not because of the sort of fancy of it, but just as a metaphor. So this heart is the place where we get animated. So from all this unknown and further into the base of existence, human beings get animated somehow and come into existence. So that's why the heart has been defined as the link between the animate and inanimate. And all what is going on somehow has this base. The heart is the base of existence. So why the heart? We call it heart because it's actually the heart that is the physical system, also animates the entire body. If the heart doesn't work, nothing works, so to say. So somehow this very base of existence, ground of being, is what we can sort of access through meditation. In heartfulness, we think of this life, sort of little life star, or source of life, source of light, that which lightens the matter up into us. So when we meditate, we go to this light. We try to go to this very, very ground of being, to this point from where we get animated, and we try to somehow stay in that connection. So for me, it's very, for every time I meditate, I really remind myself that I'm connecting myself with the ground of being, and with the very point of my existence, of the cause of me being in life, so the source of light in my heart. And of course, what happens in life, we know that as children, we get a lot of, do's and don'ts, and we build a lot of patterns, and we have feelings that we like and we don't like. So we begin to react and have a lot of tensions in that. And the way we react and our thoughts, of course, will then, of course, determine the way we look onto the world, how we perceive reality. So it will determine our cognition. So that's why we can see different things, because we have different patterns, glasses to look at the world with. And if you continue, then of course we make a lot of strategies. Ego is basically a construction to make yourself your way into the world. So we, based on these intricacies, or on this sort of the way we are formed through thoughts and feelings, and that makes us perceive in a certain way, then we do our best to make a strategy for managing this life, and only then the consciousness, the consciousness will then of course be modified by these strategies. We will only have access to this consciousness that our ego allows us to do. So when we meditate, you see, I like to see it like this. If you see this arrow here, is that you try to go from the heart, from this sense of fullness, and then to sort of try to sort of shed light from within and out. So try to, in meditation, you experience things, your consciousness is really sometimes very, very refined when you are centered and still in the meditation. Then when you come out of meditation, your ego will say, perhaps I don't need this, strategy. Perhaps I can let go. I can soften up here. Perhaps I don't need to be so all the time on the guard. And then when I let go of my sort of limitation, then I begin to perceive more, and to register more, and then gives me also some other resources to let go of some of my limiting thought patterns and so on. So when I meditate now, I don't know how you do, Purnima, because I think this is really an individual matter, is a common method, but the way we meditate is very personal. So we have to make personal sense out of it. But the way I meditate, I connect myself with the ground of being, with the point of animation, and then try to let that shed light upon my state of consciousness, and try to bring that out in my ego construction, and soften up and enlarge, and try to sort of see, oh, look in a new way at the world. What do I see, and how can that help me to actually become more emotionally receptive and more mindfully aware? Sorry, I hope that this somehow made sense to you, but I felt
Yeah,
like sharing this with you.
thank you so much. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. It is a very good prelude to start a session of heartfulness relaxation. So, very beautifully, Dorina spoke how she meditates, and how it happens very spontaneously and nicely in her heart. Um, okay, so Dorina is also a heartfulness trainer, and I'm very happy to have her here. Thank you so much for this beautiful webinar, and I request all the participants to join us for the next few minutes of meditation. It's only a few minutes to experience how it feels, and I really implore you to go on and try heartfulness meditation. You can log into the heartfulness.org website and sign in to contact a trainer. So let's begin our experiential session now. Sit comfortably, close your eyes. Let's begin from the toes. Wiggle your toes, relax your toes, relax your feet. Feel an energy from Mother Earth rising up through your feet into your body. And as this energy rises up, it is relaxing your legs, your knees, your thighs. This energy is relaxing your hips, Slowly bring your attention to your lower back and feel this energy relaxing your lower back. And as your lower back is completely relaxed, move your attention to your upper back, which is also relaxed. Your whole back is completely relaxed now. Bring your attention to your stomach, relaxing your stomach. Your chest is relaxed now, your shoulders. This energy is moving up and it is flowing through both your arms. It is relaxing your arms, your your wrist, your palm, your fingers. This energy is oozing out of your fingertips, relaxing your entire hands. Gently bring your attention to your neck, relax your neck. Relax the muscles in your face, your jaws, your ears, cheeks, nose, lips, eyes, forehead, till the tip of your head. All parts are completely relaxed. As your whole body is relaxed now, slowly bring your attention to your heart. Feel the source of light and love in your heart. And please start meditation on the light in your heart. As you continue meditating, this light is pulling you deep within and you are meditating deeply. Let's meditate together for a few minutes. Gently open your eyes when you feel ready. Gently open your eyes when you feel ready. Thank you all for joining us today for the Heartfulness session, for the webinar. Please write to us with your feedback about the webinar at glow@heartfulness.org, which is glow@heartfulness.org. And it is my sincere request to all of you to continue your heartfulness practice. And if you like to contact the trainer directly, you can write to us at glow@heartfulness.org, or you can log in into the website heartfulness.org and sign up to contact the trainer nearest to your location. Thank you so much once again for to join us here, and thank you so much, Dorina. It was a wonderful time with you.
Thank you, Punima, for giving this opportunity to share my heart.
Our pleasure. Bye.
Bye.